All right, what's up, y'all? Today we have our playoff predictions. They're probably going to be wrong, so before you start hating me in the comments, I'm probably going to get all these wrong, but figured I'd come out with a quick video. Currently Tuesday morning, the games start later on today. I wanted to go on and get it out before any games got played. I'm going to be going over who I think is going to win the playoffs and then all the way up to the World Series. So starting it off, we have Detroit and Cleveland. Three-game series playing in Cleveland. Detroit has been really slumping lately. Cleveland was like below 500 until like August, I think, which is crazy considering they're in the playoffs now. Of course, you have Ramirez playing good. Stephen Kwan's been slumping a little bit this year. Hasn't played as good as previous years, I don't think. I think the Guardians have played the Tigers a lot recently, and they're like 5-1 against them recently. Of course, you'll have Scooble pitching for the Tigers in Game 1. So I'm gonna give Game 1 to the Tigers. I think Scooble's actually 1-1 against the Guardians this year. But I'm gonna still give it the Game 1 to the Tigers, and I think the Guardians will win Game 2 and 3. Overall, I think the Guardians have better starting pitching, but of course the Tigers have a better ace. But anyways, the Tigers' bats have also been kind of slumping lately. And so I'm going to go with the Guardians for this series. All right, moving on, we have one that I'm probably going to be biased as hell on. Y'all, a lot of Red Sox fans are going to hate me. I'll give y'all credit. The Red Sox are good, and they're going to be tough. But as a Yankees fan, I cannot say the Red Sox are going to beat the Yankees, especially in a playoff game. The Red Sox are 9-4 against the Yankees this year, although the Yankees, I think, took 2 out of 3 in their last series, which is fairly recently. Game 1, it'll be Crochet versus Freed, so it'll be a pitching duel. I'm really worried because the Yankees have not hit Crochet very good this year. I think the only really Yankee that has hit Crochet good this year is Ahmed Rosario. Or I think his overall stats against Crochet, I think he's 6 for 9 with a home run. But I think Jazz Chisholm should be playing. Boston, like I said, is 9-4 versus the Yankees this year. Crochet is 3-0 on 4 starts versus the Yankees, so that's not good for us. I think Roman Anthony's still out with the oblique strain or something. Overall, I think it's going to be a great series. I do think it's going to go 3 games. Game 1 is a toss-up. I'm going to give Game 1 to the Yankees, though. I know that they have not hit Crochet good this year, but I believe in Max Fried. I think that he can kind of neutralize Garrett Crochet, so I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think most people think that way for Game 1. Game 2 will probably be Bayo versus Rodon. The Red Sox have lit Rodon up this year, so I think that they'll take that game. And then Game 3, I guess, will be, if there is a Game 3, it should be Cam Schlittler versus Lucas Giolito. Lucas Giolito's been pretty good this year. I'm not too worried about him. He's been good, but he has his ups and downs. Overall, I got to go with the Yankees in the series. I think they'll take Game 1 and 3, and I think Game 2 will go to the Red Sox. Of course, they're playing in the Bronx. The Yankees are 50-31 at home, and they've won 10 out of their last 11. Of course, they beat the Orioles, White Sox, and then the Orioles again. But like I was saying earlier, as a Yankees fan, I cannot go with the Red Sox. It's just not who I am. It's not who any Yankee fan should be. So y'all might hate me for this, but I'm going with the Yankees in the series. Next up, we have the ALDS coming up with the Cleveland Guardians going to Seattle and playing the Mariners. We have a best-of-5 series. Overall, I think that the Mariners' rotation is better, the starting rotation. Of course, you get Brian Wu, George Kirby, Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert. You have some really good pitchers over there. And their starting lineup is pretty damn good, too, 1 through 5. But the same can be kind of said for Cleveland. Cleveland's been really hot lately. I think I'm still going to take the Mariners. I think the Mariners, top 5 in their batting order, will be able to get it done against Cleveland. But I'm going to go on and take the Mariners here. We have the Yankees going to Toronto to start off the series. Best of 5 in the ALDS. Blue Jays have played extremely well this year. I'm pretty sure they finished in last place last season, and to finish in first with like 94 wins this season is crazy. Of course, they got the first round bye. And of course, I'm going to be biased when it comes to this one because the Yankees are taking on another division rival. But I will give the Blue Jays credit. They have been extremely good this year. Bo Bichette has really came alive. I'm not sure he should be back for this series. I know he got He's been injured for like the last 2 weeks or whatever, but I think I saw something where he should be returning this series. Of course, George Springer's playing really good. Vladdy Guerrero. They got some star power over there, that's for sure. But on the Yankees side of things, Aaron Judge has lit up the Blue Jays his entire career. I think he's going to have a really good series in this series. And then, of course, Giancarlo Stanton is a different type of player in the playoffs. So, of course, I got to go with the Yankees in this series, even though they're going to be playing in Toronto to start things off. They've played fairly well on the road this year, so I'm going to go on and take the Yankees right here. Moving on to the ALCS, you got the Mariners trying to make it to their first World Series. They should be playing in Seattle to start things off with out of this best-of-7 series. I can definitely see this going 7 games. The Mariners should have home field advantage because they won the division and the Yankees didn't, even though the Yankees had more wins on the season, I think. Either way, I think it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to go 7 games. You're going to come down to the two favorites for the MVP for the AL. Of course, everybody's trying to make a push for Kyle Riley. I don't think it's logical, but I think Aaron Judge should walk away with it easily. But, I mean, some people have argued for Kyle Riley, so this will kind of help determine that, I think. I think a lot of people will make up their mind on who wins this series and who plays better. But either way, of course, if this happens, this might not even happen. These teams might not even make it this far, but it would be cool to see if they did. Of course, you got the 2 leading AL MVP candidates. Either way, I think it's going to be a great series, but of course, I got to go with the Yankees. I mean, do you really expect anything different from a Yankees fan? So I'm going to go with the Yankees in Game 7. All right, moving on to the NL, you got the Reds playing at LA facing the Dodgers. The Reds are 38-42 on the road this year. I'm so glad the Reds ended up making the playoffs. I'm gonna start off by saying that they knocked the Mets out the playoffs, paying all that money to all them players and can't even make the playoffs. But of course, Game 1 should be Hunter Green probably versus Yamamoto. Maybe I haven't checked on it yet. And then Game 2 you'll have Nick Lodolo probably either versus Ohtani or Snell or somebody like that. The Dodgers starting rotation is extremely scary, but the Reds aren't no slouch either. They have a good rotation too with Andrew Abbott and Lodolo and all of those guys. I think the Dodgers bullpen is a little bit weaker. I think the Reds have a little bit better of a bullpen. But I think the Dodgers overall have a better 1 through 9 lineup. Of course, you have a ton of star power there, especially the top of the lineup. The Dodgers, like 1 through 6, is a lot scarier than the Reds, in my opinion. This would be Ellie De La Cruz's playoff debut, so that'll be pretty cool. I think on the year, the Reds are 1-5 versus the Dodgers, so that's not very good. And I think the last series they played, the Dodgers actually swept them. I know a lot of people are rooting for the Reds here, including myself. I'm rooting for the Reds, but in my personal opinion, I think the Dodgers are going to beat them in this series. In our final wild card matchup, we have the Padres at the Cubs for a 3-game series. The Cubs are 49-31 at home, so that's pretty good. The one thing that concerns me with the Cubs is their starting rotation. They have been really shaky lately. Imanaga has been shaky. Matthew Boyd kind of finished off the season a little bit shaky. And of course, Cade Horton is hurt. He's not going to be playing in this series. But I think that the Padres overall have a better rotation. You have Nick Pivetta. He's played pretty good this year. Dylan Cease, and then Yu Darvish. Either way, I think that the Padres are going to take this series. I think these teams went 3-3 in April. That's the last time they played, I think. I think the Cubs lineup 1 through 9 is better. I think they're more well-rounded. Seiya Suzuki's been red hot lately after a pretty cold second half. Like I said earlier, the Cubs have weaker pitching, in my opinion. The 2 pitchers that's really honestly kind of finished the season off stronger would be Colin Ray and Jameson Taillon, in my opinion. I think the Padres' bullpen's a little bit better also. And, of course, you have Kyle Tucker coming back. He got hurt. He's back now. But overall, I'm going to go with the Padres in this series. I think they take it in 3 games. The Cubs were originally my pick to win the World Series back during the summer. But, of course, opinions change. So this could go either way, really. But I think that the Padres' pitching is a little bit better. I'm a little bit worried about Imanaga. I think he allowed like 8 runs last game. He's a great pitcher. I'm just a little worried about their starting rotation. So I'm going to take the Padres right here. On the second round, in the NL, we have the Dodgers at the Phillies in Philadelphia. I'm going to take the Phillies in this series. I think that their bullpen's overall better. I think the Dodgers overall have the best team in baseball. I'm not going to lie. But overall, in this series, I'm going to go with the Phillies. I think Kyle Schwarber is going to have a really good series against the Dodgers. I think Bryce Harper is going to play good. Of course, Zach Wheeler's out. Overall, I think the Dodgers starting pitching will probably be a little bit better. But I think the Phillies bullpen will be a lot better than the Dodgers. I really don't believe in the Dodgers bullpen for this playoff push they're trying to make. But I'm going to go with the Phillies in this series. Might be a little bit of an upset, but that's what I'm going to go with. Padres at Brewers, starting things off for the 5-game series. The Brewers have been probably, I think they get the best record in baseball. They've played the best. They made the most of what they've had this year. So I'm going to take the Brewers in the series. I don't think the Padres are going to be able to upset them. I think it'll go 5. But I'm going to take the Brewers in this series, and they'll have a matchup with the Phillies in the NLCS. NLCS, we're going to have the Phillies taking on the Brewers, 7-game series. Bryce Harper is going to want to get that World Series, man. He's getting later on in his career. I think that the Phillies take this one. I think that the Brewers have made the most of what they had. They've been probably the best overall baseball team this year when it comes to fundamentals. But I'm going to take the Phillies here. I think that Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper are going to lead the Phillies to a NLCS win and take them to the World Series this year and have a rematch of the 2009 World Series. So I got Yankees versus Phillies in the World Series. All right, so Yankees versus Phillies. This is going to be a good one. My heart, of course, would be telling me Yankees. My head is honestly telling me Phillies. I'm not going to lie. The Phillies are scary this year. I'm terrified of having to face the Phillies in the World Series if the Yankees make it there. But I'm going to have to go with my heart, man. I'm going to go with the Yankees. This is my predictions for the 2025 postseason playoffs and World Series. I got the Yankees winning it. Of course, I'm a biased Yankees fan, so this is where we're at. Let me know what y'all do. I'll leave a link to this little website down below if y'all want to make one and make a video on it and tag me in or something. Or just let me know down in the comments who y'all got beating who. But this is what we got. Appreciate y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next video. This is just a quick video I wanted to put out. Since I'm a baseball-related channel, I wanted to put this video out real quick before the playoffs start. Of course, I said earlier, these are probably all going to be wrong. The Yankees might lose in Game 1. But if they do, I got the Red Sox going all the way. So, anyways, appreciate y'all for watching. Of course, these predictions can go any way. I just wanted to get this out there before they started. But anyways, I'll catch